It's Monday, August 29th, 2022. Before I start the video, please make sure to like the video, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that stuff. I'm not going to waste your time. Let's get right into this video today. Markets across the board down. We saw what happened Friday. Dow Jones was down 1,008. It was down about 184 today. Down as far as 310, then it kind of went back and forth, red and green all day. In the last 5 minutes, we saw a pretty decent sell-off on the Dow Jones, ends up down about 184, NASDAQ down, all of them down today. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this week plays out, but the markets don't even matter. The economy to me is what matters, and the economy continues to collapse. And let's talk about a few things today, and I'm going to start with this first article on CNBC. Fewer Americans say they are living paycheck to paycheck as inflation begins to ease. First off, are any of you seeing inflation easing? If you are, please comment down below on what sectors that you're seeing inflation easing up. Now, we may see some things easing up, but it seems like if something goes down over here, something's going up over here. Maybe carrots are getting cheaper, maybe lettuce is getting cheaper, but energy costs are going up. The price to heat your home is going to go up. The price to cool your home going up. 60 to 80% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, depending on the data that you're reading. Now, on CNBC, they say it's 60%. I've seen that number as high as 80%. But whatever the number is, let's pick a number, 60, 70, 80. We'll pick it in the middle, 70%. 70% of this country is living paycheck to paycheck. But according to this article, the number of Americans who say they are stretched thin has started to fall as inflation pressures ease. Now, I find that interesting that they're saying inflation pressures are easing, but the Bank of International Settlements and the IMF just came out with warnings, both warning of more price shocks to continue to come as inflation rises. Also, they say that risk of inflation is not to the downside, but to the upside. But according to this article, people are beginning to see inflation pressures ease. Now, they don't say how many people, but they do say that 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. We know that that number is higher than 60%. But if you're seeing anything easing up, please comment down below. I'd love to know your thoughts. And if you're seeing things not easing up, but going up, let us know. Mortgage rates will fall to 4.5% in 2023, question mark. That's the estimate from Fannie Mae. This also on CNBC. Now, who believes that you're going to get a 30-year in 2023 for 4.5%? I don't believe that. I really don't. If you do, great. I don't believe it. Remember, they told us that inflation was transitory, that this was all going to go away. Don't worry. The Fed's got your back. The economy's recovering. It's booming. The consumer's never been stronger, even though now the savings rate's 5%, and most people have tapped out their savings completely and are surviving on credit cards at this point. But get ready. Mortgage rates will be 4.5%. Well, maybe they will be 4.5%, but there'll be millions of people without a job and destroyed credit after they've been evicted, so they won't have to worry about what mortgage rates are because they'll never be able to afford a house because they will never qualify for a loan. And if you don't have a job, you don't have money, you can't afford to buy anything, and if you have bad credit, you will not qualify for a home. So I don't know. I think those rates are going to be much higher than that. And I think we're going to see much higher unemployment. If you believe unemployment is 3.5% right now, I have a bridge to sell you. 64% of consumers are worried about shrinkflation. This is also on CNBC. Now, this kind of contradicts what they just told us, that people are beginning to see the easing. What we do know as a fact is people are paying more and they're getting less. They're getting less ounces, they're getting less pounds, they're getting less quality, they're getting less service. And this is going to continue to be a big problem. And as many of you know, going out to lunch, going out to dinner, and I know 100 people will write me, why don't you eat at home? I eat at home 90% of the time. When I'm on the road, when I'm working, traveling, when I'm out, I do go out and eat. Now, I do try to eat at home as much as I can, like most of you, but sometimes you don't really have a choice. But I cannot believe how bad the quality of food has gotten at these establishments. Some places have decent service. Many have terrible service. I went to a Thai restaurant the other night. It's closed 2 days out of the week, and they have limited hours on the other 5 days. I don't know how a restaurant can survive being open 5 days and then shutting down 2 or 3 hours out of that day from going from lunch, then shutting down, and then opening for dinner. I don't know how they're surviving. I really don't. I will say the restaurant was good and the service was really good, but so many establishments with the poor quality and the poor service and the smaller portions and the prices just absolutely soaring to go out and eat. And yes, this is why I do eat at home 90% of the time, because it's better, it's more affordable. You know what you're getting. But again, sometimes you just don't have that convenience. But I see so many restaurants on borrowed time, and I wonder how many are even paying their leases and their rents right now, and how many will not exist in 2023. 2-year Treasury yields hit one of the highest levels since 2007 as bond sell-off continues. This is a debt bubble warning, ladies and gentlemen. The 10-year, I saw it earlier today at 3.12. I think it's at 3.11 right now. This is going to be trouble, and this is warning you and I that you're going to see the 30-year mortgage rate continue to climb. It's at 5.5% right now, but I do think that we're going to see it back over 6% this year. But watch that 10-year bond yield. That is a warning. And now the question is the Fed really being honest? Are they going to stop buying into the stock market? Are they going to stop buying bonds? I don't know what to believe, ladies and gentlemen, because we saw them buying up this bond market. We saw them holding up the stock market. But you know they were buying stocks. You know they were buying bonds. At the same time, raising rates, playing both ends here. Very, very dangerous. So we're going to see if they're going to stop buying into these markets, if they're going to stop buying bonds, and if they're going to shrink that balance sheet. If they do, this is going to be a real rough ride. And if they don't, and if they do pivot, which they're not going to pivot this year, but if they pivot next year, Jerome Powell will have egg on his face. He will go down in the history books as the man who caused runaway inflation, maybe even hyperinflation here in America. So would he rather go down in the history books as the guy that caused hyperinflation in America, or the guy who fought inflation, caused a recession, maybe a depression, but fought it just like Paul Volcker did, and did what he had to do? I would much rather go down in the history books being the guy that fought inflation, causing a recession or a depression, than the guy that literally destroyed America. Now, if he reverses course after everything he said, talking the big game, he is going to look so weak. He will never live it down, and he will go down in the history books as the person who caused hyperinflation. Now, my problem is this: why didn't we, and maybe somebody out there can answer this, why didn't we begin raising interest rates 10 years ago? Why did we keep rates nearly at zero for over a decade? And why did Jerome Powell keep rates so low during his tenure? He could have been raising rates a long time ago, and he didn't. He did everything he could to prop up these markets. They were buying mortgage-backed securities during a housing boom. He lowered rates. We saw the 30-year mortgage rate at 2.7 at one point. They were adding gasoline to this fire. And now, all of a sudden, he's going to get aggressive, tighten up the balance sheet, raising rates while we're in a recession. This has never been done before, and the outcome is very uncertain. Look, we need to open up pipelines. We need to get oil going. We need to get businesses back here in America. We need to get food, our food system back in order. This shipping crisis needs to be resolved. There's so many things that the Fed can't do that they really have no influence on, and that's oil and food shortages, a shipping crisis. So this whole thing is so unknown that I don't know how it's going to play out. I just do believe it's going to get very, very bad. But again, when you leave rates at nearly zero for over a decade, and then you fuel a housing bubble, buying up mortgage-backed securities and slamming rates to 2.7% or under 3%, you've done a lot to create this mess. And now Jerome Powell is going to have to clean up the mess that he has created or been a big part of creating. So we're going to see how it plays out. Comment down below. Love to know your thoughts on that. Here's an article from the Hedge Study. U.S. adults are suffering at record rates. Most of this is because of economic conditions. People feel bad. They're having mental issues. They're very depressed. We know a lot of people are on pharmaceuticals because of their depression. A lot of people see no way out. They see a dead end. They are living paycheck to paycheck, many of them falling behind. You know, when you account, when you pay your rent or your mortgage, when you make the car payment, you pay your health insurance, you pay your car insurance, you pay the phone bill, you pay the cable, you pay the grocery bill, you pay to go get a pair of shoes, you pay utilities. What is left? What is left of your paycheck? And then don't forget the big one. You got to pay Uncle Sam. You got to pay Uncle Sam theirs. They're going to get theirs, because if they don't get theirs, you know, they're knocking at your door. Another one from Market Watch. All this puts parents in a pickle. A sharp rise in lunch meat prices adds to parents' back to school stress. Lunch meat is up 18%. It was up 18% in July compared to last July. A typical lunch sandwich is up 39% year over year. Now look, if you make $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, this might not be a big deal to you. But people making, you know, $30,000 a year, $40,000 a year, $50,000 a year, 2 kids, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And every penny more it costs to put a gallon of gas in their car is a big deal. And this should be a big deal to all of us, because I don't care how much money you make, it's beginning to affect everybody. And people just go, oh, I make $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 a year, I make $1 million a year. This, you know, doesn't bother me whatsoever. It's going to, if this country heads into a depression, and you don't want to see what's going to spill out socially. I always find it funny that you know, people, I live at the beach, or I live in this gated community and it doesn't really affect me. Well, once you leave your gated community, once you leave the beach, it's going to affect you. But you don't even have to leave, because when people get desperate, when they get angry, they get hungry, they're going to hop over your walls, or they're coming to the beach because they know you have nice stuff. And so they probably think you have food and you have nice things that they could take and sell so they can eat. So these people who just, you know, think they're beyond all this because of their zip code or how much money they make. Look, this country heads into a depression. I don't care who you are, what neighborhood you live in, whatever your zip code is, you are going to be affected by this. This is going to have a huge negative impact on everybody, from the poor to the wealthy. This could really turn into some very, very scary times. Nationwide SNAP EBT outage left millions unable to make payments at retail stores. Some systems restored. I'm going to say this again. The system, the banking system, the financial system is very fragile. Agencies in Massachusetts and South Carolina reported Sunday that customers are unable to make purchases with EBT cards. This was blamed on a third-party processor, which is gradually restoring all services. So you have to ask yourself, well, yeah, I don't care about, you know, the people out there go, I don't care about people with EBT and SNAP, that's on them, you know, who cares? Well, what if it happened to you? What happened to your bank card, your credit card? What if you went online to check your banking services and you couldn't access them? What if you could not access your bank account? What if you couldn't use your bank account? What if your bank shut down? How quickly everything online could be shut down and everything online could be unaccessible. Your money, especially, unaccessible. You can be shut off in a split second, ladies and gentlemen, and this is why I recommend that all of you be very, very prepared and not keep all your money in the bank and not keep your entire life on a computer. If you're 100% reliant on picking up one of these or turning on your computer to access money, hoping that plastic card is going to work at the ATM, or when you walk into the bank, you're going to be able to get funds, get cash out of that bank, how quickly that could all come to an abrupt end. And it could last a day, it could last a weekend, it could last a week, it could last a month. Now, I know a lot of people out there believe that could never happen, but those are the same people that thought an economy could never be shut down for an entire year. There's a lot of things out there that have happened, and I'm not going to bore you and take up all this time, but we could probably list 20 things in the last year that happened that nobody ever thought could happen, and it's all happened. So to think that your financial system couldn't be shut down, that your credit card couldn't be shut down, that your EBT or your bank card, debit card couldn't be shut down, well, the EBT cards already did get shut down. People's banks have already been shut down. People have already experienced not being able to access their ATMs because the ATMs were down, their bank cards didn't work, or they couldn't access their bank accounts online. We've already begun to see these problems, but it hasn't really been a huge issue yet because it's always resolved within 24 hours or less. But what if it isn't? What do? Don't keep all your money in the bank. And if you have to keep money in the bank, keep it in multiple banks, keep it spread around. But I noticed that a lot of people make videos and they tell you how bad the banking system is, how this whole financial system is going to implode, how you're not going to be able to access your money, how you shouldn't trust the system, etc., etc., etc. Well, then why in the world are these people keeping their money in the bank? I don't keep a majority of my money in the bank. I keep it in other locations that I can get to very, very quickly because I don't trust the banks. I don't trust the banking system. I don't trust computers because they can be accessed, they can be shut down, and they can be controlled. And if you're in the system, if all your money is on a computer screen, you can be controlled. So I don't keep all of my money in the bank. I am the bank. I am my own central bank. And so if you believe that the system is fraudulent, criminal, that they can access your money with the press of a button, why in the world would you keep all your money in the bank? Now, people out there go, well, keep $200 or $300 at home. I would tell you to get yourself a very good safe. Invest in a safe. People ask for financial advice. Well, here's some financial advice I'm going to give all of you today. Take some money and invest in a good, high-quality safe. You will never regret it. And put it somewhere. Maybe you have a good location. Maybe it's at your home. Maybe it's at an office that you have. Maybe it's in some other location. But get yourself a good. You get what you pay for, ladies and gentlemen. Get yourself a good, high-quality safe, and be your own central bank. And maybe you get 3 safes and you put them in different locations. I know people that bury their money. Another great idea if you have the property. But I think that for most people, a good high-end safe is going to serve a purpose. Because if you have to access cash or barterable items, maybe junk silver, maybe gold, you know where it's at and you can get to it. But you are relying on a third party to save your butt if the system goes down. So something to think about. Not telling you to pull all your money out of the bank today, but certainly don't have it all there. And certainly, if you have a safe deposit box with gold, silver, diamonds, cash, whatever, do not leave it in a bank. I think that's in my opinion, it's better under your mattress than it is in a safe deposit box at a bank. I'm going to finish with this last article, and I'd love to know what all of you think about this. This was on The Hedge today. America imported over $6 billion in goods from Russia since the Ukraine invasion. Now, I thought that this administration was going to isolate and cripple the Russian economy. No. We had more than 3,600 ships from Russia that have arrived in the U.S. since February 24, according to the Associated Press. That's $6 billion imports. Now, we're importing a lot less than we have in the past, but think about that number though. We're still importing. We're importing we're importing oil, gas, fertilizers, metals, and other things. Comment down below. How in the world can we be doing this over in Ukraine, yet import $6 billion of goods from Russia while we're sending billions of dollars over to Ukraine? I just cannot understand this. We've sent $10 billion over to Ukraine already, and now we're importing already $6 billion of goods from Russia. This to me is just so hypocritical. Just reading this article, I'm really literally speechless. We have just fallen into the twilight zone here. It's just I've never seen anything like it. So comment down below. Let me know what you think about that. We're supposed to be huge enemies of Russia, yet we're still doing business with Russia while we're sending $10 billion over to Ukraine. Absolutely incredible. So hypocritical. Again, I don't even have words to describe it. But at the end of the day, I don't take political sides. I don't get political here. I'm just reporting the news, reporting the facts. But just getting back to what's happening in the economy, this thing I think is going to really get scary here very, very quickly. And I think a lot of people right now, when I'm out, they look defeated. They look worried. And I think that there's a lot of people right now who are not sleeping very good at night. And they're very worried about their futures. They're worried about if they're going to have a job. And I tried, to reach out to so many people over the last couple years to prepare for what is coming. Because just like many of you, I saw the warning signs. I saw the economic indicators, and many of you saw where this was all going. And people just think that things happen quickly, like, bubbles form and burst over a week or a month or 6 months. They don't understand that bubbles can take years and years to get bigger and bigger and then implode. And we're just watching this escalation of this economy and all the juicing of the markets and the inflating of the bubbles. And now, we have these gigantic overvalued markets. We have these overinflated bubbles. And now we're raising rates, heading deeper into a recession, which by the time they admit we're in a recession, we will be in a depression. And so many people ignored this. And they're worried. They're not sleeping at night. We're talking about the health of the average American now, their mental health, and they're scared. And many people have been wiped out, and many people are not paying their bills right now, and many people are on borrowed time because they're using up their credit cards. And after that, there's nowhere to run. And I feel sorry for these people, and I don't. And I know that there's good people out there that, did everything they could, saved money, didn't spend it, then they lost a job, and they were told not to go to work, and they've been thrown into this mess, and they're going to pay a price too. But there were so many people that refused to see what was happening, refused to believe the truth, and just wanted to believe everything they were being told on the television. And again, those famous words that are so scary. Hi, I'm the government, and I'm here to help you. When you hear that, you need to run. And many people didn't. They believed it, they took the help, and now they're done. And there's really, I don't think there's any way out for these people. We're so far into this now, we're so deep in that if you haven't really begun preparing, it's probably already too late because you're broke. You don't have a job, you don't have money, you didn't save any money. How do you prepare when you don't have any money? I'll leave you with this. The only thing you can do now is pray and leave it to God, because many people are going to need a miracle to survive what's coming, because they're going to financially be wiped out. Many people are going to be hitting the streets. Those people who would judge people that were homeless and living in tents and said it would never happen to them, and those people chose that life and they do drugs and they're losers. Those same people now are getting worried because they might be joining those people in those tents. So stay on the course, ladies and gentlemen. This thing, look, market could go up 700 tomorrow. I have no idea. I don't really care because the economy has already collapsed. You know it and I know it. The stock market's going to have its day. It's going to go down. It's going to crash too at some point. Maybe the housing market that takes it down. Maybe Jerome Powell that takes it down. I don't know yet. But we're going to witness some epic events taking place. And many people, most people, are not prepared, did not prepare, and they're going to be completely wiped out. And there are going to be people who prosper. And many of you who continue to build up your war chest, keep your powder dry, save up the cash, have the barterable items, you're going to prosper. There's no doubt about it. We're going to see historic discounts coming. The biggest sales in our lifetime are coming, and we're going to see a wealth transfer unlike we've ever seen. And there are going to be people that are going to take advantage of it, just like the central banks, just like Wall Street and institutional money are going to take advantage of this. You got to be on the right side of this. So stay on track, stay on the course. God bless all of you. I'm going to leave it there today. I know I'm just ranting here, but there's just so much unknown, ladies and gentlemen. And the only thing I can say is when we're in the unknown like this, don't go buying a house, don't go buying an RV, a boat, or a $50,000 car. This is the time to just get very, very defensive, downsize, be ready to evolve quickly with these markets, because they're going to be moving quickly, evolving quickly. And the people that can move with these markets quickly, who have capital, are going to be the ones that capitalize at this time. God bless all of you. Have a great day. I look forward to speaking with all of you soon. Make sure to share this video. Make sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification down below. And God bless.